Today on the newscast, artificial intelligence and Bible prophecy. A fascinating discussion next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast and welcome to New York City. I am in an historic 19th century church as we film a brand new upcoming TBN special on the history of Christian martyrdom from the first century, the time of Jesus, to the 21st century today. That's coming up on TBN. As soon as I have a firm air date, I will get it to you. In the meantime, speaking of TBN specials, my recent TBN special, The Rise of Artificial Intelligence, is right here on our channel. Just go to the homepage and you'll find it under newscast and also in the TBN specials category. Now, folks, this is one of the most important programs I have ever done. I say that without hesitation. AI is quite literally changing the world, and as the church, as the body of Christ, many are trying to get a handle on it and figure out what the way is forward with this game-changing technology that is already falling into the wrong hands in many cases. Does it have prophetic implications, this rise of AI? I spoke to Pastor James Kaddis. He's the founder of Calvary Chapel, Signal Hill in California. He's also got a great YouTube channel that you need to subscribe to right here on YouTube. Spoke to him about the prophetic implications of the rise of AI. Pastor Cadiz is a fascinating guy, a prophecy authority with a tech background as well, and he broke down what AI could mean for the church and for you. In the meantime, before we get to the Pastor Cadiz interview, a soundbite here from Yuval Noah Harari. If you know about our reporting on the Great Reset, you know that name very well. Take a look.
It's the first technology ever that can create new ideas. You know, the printing press, radio, television, they broadcast, they spread the ideas created by the human brain, by the human mind. They cannot create a new idea. You know, Gutenberg printed the Bible in the middle of the 15th century. The printing press printed as many copies of the Bible as Gutenberg instructed it, but it did not create a single new page. It had no ideas of its own about the Bible. Is it good? Is it bad? How to interpret this? How to interpret that? AI can create new ideas, can even write a new Bible. Throughout history, religions dreamt about having a book written by a superhuman intelligence, by a non-human entity. Every religion claims our book, all the other books of the other religions, humans wrote them. But our book, no. It came from some superhuman intelligence. In a few years, there might be religions that are actually correct. That just think about a religion whose holy book is written by an AI. That could be a reality in a few years.
Does the Bible give clues about the future role of artificial intelligence and how it could be used if it falls into the wrong hands? Pastor James Kaddis joined us with a prophetic view on AI. Well, Pastor James, I think you are the perfect guest for this AI special. Not only do you lead a great and thriving congregation at Calvary Chapel, Signal Hill in California, but you have a pretty serious tech background. Tell us how AI first came to your attention and what raised your concern, in particular, from a Christian biblical perspective.
I have to tell you, it goes way back. It actually goes back to almost 20 years ago, maybe a little bit more than 20 years ago, when I actually started working in technology at a local municipal police department. I was the chief information officer for many, many, many years. And we, maybe even a little bit before that, we were beginning to observe changes in the way modern technology was actually manipulating and utilizing basic traditional elements associated with things as simple as advertising, which really began to get my attention. We are going to learn how to manipulate or harness technology to get you to think that you actually need something based on how we make a presentation through an educated guess. Then it graduated from there into, we are going to listen to your conversations using the technology that we have, with technology like Alexa, right? And what they do then is they listen to your comments, your conversations, the things that you are talking about, the things that you're interested in. They observe where you're driving because your phone actually sees where you're driving, that kind of thing. And based on that, then they actually use an algorithm, used to be an algorithm, where they would say, well, he talked about this or he's over here, so we're going to advertise over here. Maybe he stopped on the road for this long. We're going to, give him a solution for a backup battery or something like that. And then pretty soon it kind of got to the point where people today in modern day are saying, it's so weird. The other day I was talking to my wife about the fact that we should buy some solar panels. And now all of a sudden I got 50 solar panel advertisements on my YouTube channel. I'm watching YouTube. That is AI. And what's interesting about the way that works, it is designed to adapt on its own based on a series of programming presets that exist. And the adaptation of such a function in order to obtain such an idea is something that is nominal compared to what's really happening over there. It's amazing to see how this actually changing. And if they can do something like that with advertising, I promise you, they can do other things. And if you ever wonder why it is in Revelation chapter 13, you have the Antichrist setting himself up in the temple and demanding to be worshiped and saying, take this mark. And so many people want to take the mark that in Revelation 14, an angel actually has to warn everybody and says, don't take this mark, don't take the mark, yet they still do it. You wonder how in the world that could be. AI is one of the prime reasons why that's going to be the case, because it's all about manipulating the person, using technology to be able to produce that kind of a result. It's kind of scary if you think about it, but as believers, we have no reason to be fearful.
That's right. And we'll talk more about that, James. It's interesting. This has been kind of a slow burn. Like you said, even 20 years ago, you noticed this when you were in a tech position. Even Google and, like you said, ads popping up. This is all part of AI. But now it seems, James, that in the past few months, we've had a breakthrough here, and maybe a line has been crossed in some respects. It seems that all anyone is talking about now is artificial intelligence. Why do you think this moment now we've seen such a greater interest in AI?
I think the first issue to look at is what appears to be the advent of a substantial amount of the utilization of artificial intelligence in all kinds of environments is something that isn't just happening all of a sudden. But what is happening is we're getting a lot of media attention on it. There's an awareness that's becoming a little bit more viable to a wider audience based on the fact that information is being utilized through AI in ways that we've never traditionally used them, even though things like ChatGPT, for example, even version 4, is a very, very, very old technology, believe it or not. It's a technology that has been utilized for years and years and years and years and years by people that were deploying it for purposes of developing calculations and mathematics and algorithmic sort of computations. Those types of things have been around for quite some time. The difference is the world is beginning to notice it because a lot of that outdated technology is becoming mainstream. And in that, we're beginning to take notice. The second issue is, and I think that it really is the bigger issue, and it really relates to the biblical worldview, and that is when we look at the utilization of AI, in my opinion, I actually think it can be biblically established, we are looking at the modern day Tower of Babel. And it's interesting because when you begin to look at the utilization of becoming or replacing God, understand this, the spirit of Antichrist has absolutely nothing to do with the word against. People think anti means against. Anti, according to the biblical definition, means instead of. So the greatest and most effective way to replace Christ, the spirit of Antichrist, is in essence to cause people to think that they are God, thus losing their consciousness of God. And AI is the way that people are doing that right now.
Yeah, James, last question. Look, we've talked about the downside of this and the future downside of artificial intelligence. Is there a way that we as followers of Jesus, as Christians, can we harness AI for good? You think of the advent of the internet and social media and different ways in which Christians have been able to use these world-changing technologies to spread the gospel and further the kingdom. Can we as believers harness that in AI? And is there a way we can use it for the good of the kingdom?
The technology that we have that is in front of us, there is always a tool available to us to further the gospel. But the thing that we have to keep in mind, and I just want to preface this, is saying that it's the Spirit of God living inside of us that is the greatest conduit to further the purposes of the kingdom of God. I think that's the first and foremost we need to understand it. So there are pastors right now, and I despise that they're doing this, that are using ChatGPT to write sermons, and you're seeing things like that happening. And so the utilization of AI in that context is very dangerous. So people ask me, okay, James, well then where do you draw the line? Like what happens here? And I always say this is the best way to look at it, right? Whatever has been tied to the work of the Spirit of God, you let the Spirit of God do, and you don't replace it with technology like AI, right? Yeah. People are changing the message with AI. People are changing the basics with AI, right? That's dangerous. It's called artificial intelligence for a reason. It's artificial. It does not develop the type of anticipatory mechanisms that are created within the human mind, which is fearfully and wonderfully made by God. So it's a matter of learning how to harness it in a way that functions assisting. And perhaps the most significant example that I can give of this is you never hand a kid a calculator when you're teaching him math. You teach him the basics of math, then you give him the calculator. It's the same thing. And I think it's critically important to understand that it isn't AI itself that can be dangerous. It's how it's being utilized by mankind, and of course, how it's being inspired to be utilized by the devil himself. And that's where we have to be very cautious.
Yeah, Pastor James Kaddis, senior pastor, founder of Calvary Chapel, Signal Hill in California. Hey, great breakdown, not only from the tech side, but even more importantly, from a biblical perspective. Pastor, thanks so much. We'll see you again soon. Keep up the great work. God bless.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Folks, again, the special is called The Rise of Artificial Intelligence. You can watch the entire program right here on our YouTube channel. Just go to our homepage. And while you're there, of course, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. But on the homepage, under Newscast and also under Specials, you will find The Rise of Artificial Intelligence. Hey, one last quick note before we go. Today begins Rosh Hashanah for the Jewish people. Shana Tova, Happy New Year to all my Jewish friends around the world. And for the people of Israel, many of whom live under the poverty line right now, I'm sad to say, this could be actually a difficult time. So be sure to check out our good friends at Meir Panim, who are feeding Israel's needy, including children and Holocaust survivors, and fulfilling that biblical mandate to bless the Jewish people. It's mpgive.org. I strongly recommend you check them out. They are doing God's work. Well, from New York City, thanks so much for joining us here on the Watchman Newscast. Until next time, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload, and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. And don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.